Hello everybody, welcome back to Only Leeds Bros, and we have Dylan back with us today. We're going to get his thoughts on Leeds United's first defeat of the season at home to Burnley, and then we're going to get into a little bit of rating the season so far, and basically what we kind of think about. Obviously we're only 5 games in, and if you include the Middlesbrough game, 6 games altogether, and then we're also going to give our thoughts on Daniel Farke, because there seems to be a big debate going on around Daniel Farke at the minute, whether you're Farke and Farke out or if you're on the bench, so we're going to give our thoughts on Daniel Farke as well. Before we get into the video, guys, some of you might have seen that we hit 50 subscribers today, which is obviously massive for us here. We did only start the channel a month ago, and we're still learning, and we're still kind of building on it. And yeah, look, it's the start of our YouTube journey, and we're just absolutely delighted with the 50 subscribers so far. So thanks to everyone that has liked, commented, subscribed so far. It's been absolutely amazing. I got a message there the other day from a guy in Australia saying that he subscribed to the channel and he's absolutely loving it, and it was so heartwarming to see that someone on the other side of the world is now watching our video. So it's absolutely class. So yeah, guys, if you can keep like, comment, subscribing on the video, it's absolutely brilliant. So yeah, Dylan, what's your thoughts on the 50 subscribers so far?
It's amazing. You know, I didn't think it would be a blow up as what it is now. Look, you think about it this way, it is only 50 subscribers at the end of the day, but it's 50 people that are interested, and you know, obviously like us, I just want to take the piss out of us, you know. But no, it's great. Never thought in a million years I'd do something like this. Didn't think I'd get as far as doing this.
Yeah.
The way my throat is, as you can hear, you know, everyone's probably wondering why is he sound like he has something stuck in his throat, you know. But yeah, no, it's great, and I appreciate this for everyone that's been liking, commenting, and subscribing. It's a long journey ahead, and we'll keep going, you know.
Yeah. And look, we said we kind of started it as we were having a few drinks one night in Dylan's house, and we just turned around and said we'll just start a YouTube channel. And obviously myself and Dylan worked with a Leeds YouTube content creators, and it kind of just influenced to start. It said that's something that we'd love to do, and we were kind of messing one night with a couple of drinks on us, and then the next day we were like, yeah, will we go for it? So it's kind of gone from there. So even think that we would have got 50 subscribers from the start, and all that's probably cliche to say, but we never actually even thought we'd get there. And like what I said, it's a drop in the ocean to some of the content creators out there, but to us it's unbelievable. And like that, the comments that we have been getting, the support on our YouTube and our TikTok channel as well, it is great. So yeah, we're at the start of a journey. We're going to keep learning and growing together, and as I said, we're going to start investing in the channel now as well. We're going to get obviously new cameras, new mics, and get better at the editing and stuff like that. So yeah, if anyone has any tips and advice like that on what kind of cameras to get or mics, what would be best to use, we'd obviously appreciate the advice, because look, we're no way experienced at this whatsoever, and yeah, we're just learning as we go. So again, guys, we'll get into the video, but we do appreciate everyone's support so far. So we'll get into the video anyway. So Dylan, yeah, your thoughts on Burnley? Obviously you had to bounce. You were watching the game on Saturday, and you had to bounce a bit early on Saturday.
I had to get what's left of my haircut, you know. It's like 2 parking spaces there. But anyway,
what did you think, Daniel, of the game as a whole? Well, obviously kind of start off from the start, your first half, your second half performance.
Ellen Road was very flat, I thought, from the whole game. Now, the first half was good, I thought, from Leeds. Control the ball really well. You know, it's kind of a hard one to put on in the sense of it's kind of like the same thing as last season. Playing well, working the ball up the pitch in a good scenario, just can't finish. You know, Joseph had to put that shot that it hit the keeper 1-0, and it would have been a completely different game. Not to say that they would have bounced back, but it was, you know, it's setting a mark, and it was kind of like, you're in our ground now, and we're not going to mess about. Same on Nanto, you know, he hit it straight at the keeper. You know, look, he was crying last season about going somewhere. You're not going to put that ball in the back of the net like that. No, same thing is probably controversial, but however. But Aronson, as you said as well, I thought Aronson played very well, and I thought Solomon played fantastic. Look, there's a lot of things that need to be worked on. Everyone can see it. But look, I won't.
For you, obviously, like, apart from their goal, obviously the main talking point that kind of came on match, we've seen them talking about it on Sky, and the ex-referee, I think his name's Gallagher, Dermot Gallagher, was turning around and saying that the referee got a spot on, that it wasn't a penalty. Like, what was your thoughts?
No, it was definitely a penalty. Regardless, it was a penalty. I'm not even going to go into much detail. It was definitely a penalty. From my point of view, of what I've seen from similar matches or replays or anything like that, it was definitely a penalty.
And you see, like, I watched it back again a couple of times, and I seen another angle of it from the side. I don't know whether it definitely wasn't from Leeds TV. I think it might have been Burnley. And Joe Worrell did get his toe on the ball, and I mean a toe on the ball, but he still went through the back of Solomon.
Yeah.
And we know 10 years ago that tackling from behind,
There's no go.
whether you get the ball or not, it's straight
Yeah,
away, it's a
100%.
foul. So whether he got the ball clear, to me, it's irrelevant because he's came through the back of the man. He nicked the ball, but then he's also taken Solomon after
Yeah,
him.
but this
And he's came from point.
Everyone's missing the
You're
point here.
engaging an opponent. So for me, it was a penalty.
Definitely. Everyone's missing the point here as well at the same fact. He went through the back of him. Not only did he win the ball, regardless of whether he won or not, it doesn't make a difference. He went through the back of a player. He endangered a player. And then, to me, it wasn't just a penalty. It was probably a red card as well. He shouldn't have came through a player like that. Look, that's just the way that I look at it. That's the way I've been watching football. And that's the way, in my eyes, the rules are. Go through a player from the back in the end of the box. It's a foul. It's a foul. But, yeah, look, as I said, the first half was very flat. I feel sorry for Solomon, to be honest with you. You know, everyone's given kind of, from what I've seen on Twitter or X or whatever, you know, Bogle's kind of getting it. Yeah. But I think Bogle done the right thing.
You think so?
Yeah, definitely. You know, Rodon was, you could say, like, Strike was miles out of position. So was Rodon. Like, what else was that man expecting?
So you think that's why we got caught, right? And this is what gripes me. I'm sorry for coming across you.
Yeah.
This is what gripes me a little bit. Is like, we've been absolutely shy at set pieces.
Yeah.
And especially corners are horrendous, right? We sent everyone up to their box for that set piece. Rodon, Strike, everything was up there. We're playing with two sitting midfielders or two holding midfielders in that pivot. The corner came in, our corner broke down as it always does. The ball comes out to Solomon. Solomon tries to kind of retrieve the situation. Rightfully, the players stay up in the box. Solomon slips. Mm-hmm. So you're playing with this double pivot and you're playing with these two centre halves. Clearly, right, you're going to bring our two centre halves forward.
Yeah.
I think it was Gruev that took the corner, and then Ampadu was forward as well. Surely there has to be some sort of covering player if you're playing with this double pivot.
Yeah.
If Gruev is taking the corner, well, then Ampadu then has to be the one to kind of sit in and give some sort of protection.
Yeah.
You'd obviously seen Strike, Gruev, Bogle was already back there. We've seen Strike, Gruev and Solomon. Solomon was way off it, but he did burst the goal. If you seen after he slipped, he was up and he was straight after. He was never going to catch him, but he tried to get back. Gruev was bursting the goal, couldn't get there, and Strike was the one that made up the most ground for me. So that's what griped me after. And obviously watching your first kind of think initially, like, how was he allowed to run? Bogle's defending, Melier's positioning for the goal. You're looking at all that, but then when time goes on, you start kind of dissecting and you look at it as a whole. I start kind of thinking about, well, what was the passage of play before that? How can we nip it in the bud that we don't get to that situation where Solomon is kind of that last man, and if something like that does happen, he slips or the ball is nicked off him or the opposing player gets there before him and wins it, how do you nip that in the bud? And you nip it in the bud by putting a holding player there, and you're taught that at like schoolboys, juvenile levels, when you're sending people for corners. Everyone doesn't go for corners, and that's what we've done, and we left Jaden Bogle back there with Elan Melier by himself, which for me is crazy.
Crazy.
It's crazy, and especially because our corners have been so bad.
Yeah.
How does it make sense to do that, to throw everyone in the box, you know what I mean, and leave ourselves exposed on the counter attack? Because really, that's the only way Burnley was going to score. They didn't threaten, and the only way they were going to score was on the counter attack.
They had everyone behind the ball, and as they say, it's risk reward play, and Leeds completely risked it all, and they made a ticket themselves. Now, as I said, I feel sorry for Solomon and the boys that were getting back. But like that, everyone's kind of saying Bogle, this, that, and the other. What was he meant to do? He had to come across. He had to. That's just my opinion. Like, Strike wasn't going to get there. Yeah. And Rodon certainly wasn't going to get there. So it was either Bogle stay where he was, covered that side of the pitch, or Melier came out. And I don't blame Melier either. I you know, and like, maybe in a certain, Bogle could have made a better attempt.
Yeah, that's what I was going to kind of count.
I don't blame him for coming across to make up the ground and try and, you know, slow him down even. Yeah. You know.
That's what I was going to kind of give it as like a counterpoint to what you were kind of saying. I know you were saying that you didn't really blame Bogle, but for me, and you know as well, you obviously played defence a bit when you did play football. For me, Bogle comes out there and he's very, very timid. And I understand when you're watching the back and he's trying to cover Jaden Anthony, who was out on the left wing, and if he comes across straight over to press the ball, it's a ball in behind and Jaden Anthony's in one-on-one Melier. That's fine. I get that 100%. We obviously know that that's kind of advanced defending. But it's for me, when he does decide to do the press,
it's too late.
You could kind of see it, and if you watch it, it's a split second. And that's obviously it takes at this level. It's a split second where he hesitates a little bit. He's a little bit timid. And then as the shot is turned, he's very timid. He turns his body, he opens his legs. and it's a recipe for disaster. And Meslier is not going to get anywhere near it.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if he's even covering that side of the goal. He's unsighted, and once a ball goes through a defender's legs, you know yourself, you're never gonna get there. You're never gonna make it. Even if you're out on the pitch and the ball's played through a player's legs, you're not gonna get there. No. It's very hard to read the game. So for me, it probably is being ultra critical on Jayden Bogle, and it's probably more so because he hasn't really hit the standards that we've obviously expected from bringing him in right back. Well, obviously when we signed him, we were all saying he's the best right back in the league. And I do think, he's given us a bit going forward, not as much as what I expect, but I do think defensively, like we were at the Portsmouth game, and we seen whatever was going on between Fairbaugh and Bogle was just absolutely horrendous. I thought I thought he was really, really bad. I thought he was bad at Portsmouth, but you kind of give him that little bit of leeway. He's a new signing, he has to get the system and right, that's fine. But I just don't think for me, and I said it in my video as well at the instant match review, I don't think Jayden Bogle has hit the levels yet that he should be at. And what we've seen of him, he was obviously in a very poor Sheffield United squad last season. But I've been watching Jayden Bogle for a while, and he hasn't got anywhere near the standard of what he's setting. Yeah, so for me, he really needs to knuckle down on his game. Like if he wants to kind of make himself a star in this squad and show that he's the best right back in the league, for me, he still has a lot of work to do. Because he could very easily, and this has probably been a little bit controversial, there's probably a debate there and there's a question to be asked. Do you take him out against Cardiff and put Byram in there, or do you give Smith a go? I think it's probably still a bit early for Smith. We haven't seen that of him. You're not going to throw him in straight from the start. But for me, there could be a shout there where Byram might come in from, because I just don't think he's been at the level.
There needs to be a shape up, you know. Like even in that second half, number one, this 70-minute course, that's what I'm calling it, of substitutions. And I know every time if I'm watching the match, I still say, why isn't someone coming on? Why, like, if there's nothing happening, why is he not making these changes now? And then you'll obviously come and say, he doesn't bring on till 70, and it just drives me mad. If you're losing 1-0 at home to newly promoted side, relegated side, sorry, and they're definitely the contenders, surely to God you want to be bringing someone on at an earlier pace. You're like these new players like Ramazani. Bring them on earlier. Yeah. Give these boys a chance.
Tanaka as well. That's what I thought it was poor. Tanaka as well. A couple of minutes Tanaka was on for. We obviously seen more of a cameo of him at Hull City, and he looked good, and we were all kind of happy. I know the game was kind of sound up, but his passing ability looked really, really good. He's positive. His first touch is forward. It's not to go back. It's not to go forward. So I think it's time now, and the onus is on. Like, we're obviously going to get into Farke a little bit more in detail, but the onus is on Farke now with his substitutions. We obviously said it at the time. When he was bringing Pirro on and taking Aronson off, he was bringing Rotwell on as well. And we told him, what did the first thing I told him now and said to you, the game was lacking, it was lacking energy, it was lacking pace, and you're taking Aronson off. It was one of them busy kind of players who kind of get around the ball and move it quick, kind of makes things happen, and he was the only one that was kind of making things happen to me.
It seemed like he went into a 4-4-2.
He brings on Joel Pirro.
Yeah.
Like, we're trying to quicken up the game and move the ball quicker, and he takes off Aronson, who was probably our quickest at transitioning, and quick as at moving the ball, and quick as at pressing the ball. He gives you that bit of speed. We haven't got Dan James, but he brings on Joe Pirro, and it's like, this isn't going to work. Yeah. And you don't have to be a football manager to see it. He's bringing on, we know Joe Pirro, he's slow with the ball, he turns like a bus. He's a great finisher, but he just doesn't move the ball quick, and you just knew what wasn't going to happen. You just knew, and especially as soon as he started, for the first few minutes it looked like he was going to play the two up top, and then you could gradually see Pirro was drifting back into that number 10. And straight away I was saying that decision to bring him on. So for me, his substitutions are what were very suspect.
They're real. I'm not gonna say that he doesn't go in with a game plan. It's just kind of like, go on. Yeah. I'm running out of options here, and I don't like that. Yeah. I really don't like that. There's no plan B. Yeah, at all. And that's that. As far as I can see, the players like Pirro, for example. I don't know how many times I have to say it's not his position. Yeah. It's simple as, like, even if they had putting him up, taking Joseph off and put Pirro up there, like that, and then if they wanted to change like that, give Tanaka a go. Yeah. Give like even Rotwell. I know he didn't do a whole lot, but you can't keep going with this midfield as well of Gruev and Ampadu. Yeah. Like, we got these players for a reason. Yeah. It's early in the season.
That was going to be my next question to you. Like, there definitely seems to be a question there and a conversation to be had about this double pivot in Gruev and Ampadu, and it's very much like the England setup with the two defensive midfielders. Like, for me, there's just no need for it, like, whatsoever. And I kind of thought when we was watching the pre-season game that Farke went to the tray at the back of Harrogate, and I was kind of like, maybe we're going to see a different Farke, more kind of expansive kind of football from him. He's willing to kind of change it up. He's willing to play new systems. And then it was like we played that one game at Harrogate, and then we just reverted back to the 4-2-3-1.
Yeah.
And it seems like to me now that every Leeds United defeat is the same defeat. We've gone like swiftly run straight on the Daniel Farke. I mean, it seems like every Leeds United defeat is the same defeat. It's like we're going out. We're dominating teams. We don't score our goals, and they hit us on the counter attack.
Yeah.
And to me, it was the two towards the end of last season. If you remember the Blackburn and Sunderland game, we drew 0-0 with Sunderland at home, where we were absolutely shy. We battered them, and we couldn't score a goal. And it was a must-win game against Sunderland. We didn't do it. And then the Blackburn game after that, where we battered them again with plenty of chances, we couldn't score goals. They hit us on the breaks, and we lose 1-0. And it seems like every Leeds United defeat
is like that.
Is the same sort of defeat.
Because they know the way that we play, and then
apart from QPR walloped us.
To be fair to Burnley, they had a game plan and they done it. And they achieved it. You know, and we, like fools that we are, we fell straight into the trap. Yeah. They knew what they were at. They had everyone behind the ball, and they were just waiting for it. Yeah. And it was going to happen. And like that Leeds, you know, at the same time, I said, if Joseph had put that in, and Nando had scored, or if we got that penalty, it would have been game over. Yeah. Burnley would have just kept coming at us. Yeah. And they wouldn't have played ball. You know,
they had to come out.
They would have risked it, you know. But, you know, we can't play like that. Yeah. That's the problem. We can't play them at their own game, is what I'm trying to say. We can't sit behind the ball. Leeds need to move it. But back to last season, you had Somerville. You had Rutter. Rutter moves the ball well.
The quality.
And it's that pass. And that's what I'm saying about Tanaka. Give him a go. Yeah. And then, like that with Somerville, fair enough, Ramazani could be like that. But even Nando, he's just real. Look, it was just a bad day at the office. But it was just,
that's what
there was no, as you said, energy.
The more kind of obviously, it was very frustrating on Saturday after matches, as we all are as Leeds fans. And it was a really poor showing. The first half, we genuinely actually don't think we were too bad. Like, we controlled the play. Yeah. Burnley did not offer us anything apart from the goal. For me, the most concerning thing was that second half. That's what was really growing.
As I said, there was no plan B.
Obviously went out for a walk like kind of after the game, and after doing the match reaction, just went for a stroll. And it was only 10 minutes, but I was thinking about that's what was griping me the most was that second half performance. It was just it lacked cutting edge. You're like, you're at home, you're against a promotion. I know it's not a must-win game, or like there's so long to go, but you need to lay a mark, and that's what we obviously talking in our match build-up. We wanted Leeds to kind of impose our game on Burnley, and we did that. But it was like the second half, we just lacked that cutting edge. The ball was too slow. It was like the ball was coming out to Melier, then it'd be popped into the middle end to Gruev. Gruev was going back to Strike, and then Strike was going back to Melier. And there was times where Gruev had time to turn it. There's no one even turn down the simplest thing like turn and progress the ball up the park. We weren't doing it. Solomon as well. There was a stage with Solomon as well. I remember he had a chance to kind of turn. The defender was very much off, and he had a chance to kind of take a touch and kind of go on and go forward. Not even the pass forward, but even just turn towards the defender, and he didn't. He just took a touch and played it back. And I'm like, this isn't from the players. Like, Solomon's only newly in it. This has to be coming from the manager. It has to be that he wants this kind of slow kind of build up, maybe for them to come out the press to get him behind. Like, it was just, for me, that's probably the most concerning thing. What was the second half was really, really poor. The only chance I remember us having was the Ampadu one, and look, it was kind of shot to nothing. It was a comfortable save at the end of the day for James Trafford. It would have been a great goal if he did catch him off, but James Trafford was all over. But apart from that, that was the worrying thing, is that we didn't offer them. It's not like we bombarded them and like we had 17 shots, but there were 17 kind of half shots. We probably 3 decent chances. Was the Joseph one, the Nanto one, and the Ethan Ampadu one. Other than that, to me, we didn't create very much, and that's the most concerning.
Yeah, completely agree. But from the first half, we were the better team. So I just have to be honest. Second half, then, as I said, there was no plan B, and that's what's worrying me. That's what I can't understand. When Leeds are losing, and it's in the second half, and there's 20, 30 minutes to go, it's kind of like, right, I don't really know what to do here, and just throws players on. No point to bringing Pirro on, you know, in that position. I'm sick and tired of saying it. It's no good. It's flat and it's dead, you know. And then the minute that he's not making them runs or he's not creating anything, before you know it, they're up it and having a go, you know. Yeah. But look, overall performance, I would give it probably out of 10. I would probably give it on that based match itself, probably a solid 5, 6.
Yeah, I thought it was poor, like, and it's probably me being negative and probably being like the devil's advocate. Like I probably would have said a 4. Like I just think we don't. I don't know. Like,
This me just probably just being a bit.
It's a different game. Look,
positive.
every team is gonna kind of like miss chances and that. But we obviously the second half. Well, not the first half for me. Was
Yeah,
like,
that's I'm concentrating solely on the first half.
In isolation, the first half, like what I said, it wasn't too bad. We should have scored. We should have had a penalty.
Yeah.
We didn't. Lapse in concentration. We get caught. They score a goal. That's fine. Second half, then right, it's time to step up. It's Daniel Farke to win there. Put a rocket up their holes and go. Look, first half performance was good. The final ball needs to be quicker. We need to start moving quicker because we've seen under Daniel Farke when his system does work and we do move the ball quick, it's good. We've seen that in Norwich at home. Norwich at home, we were straight out of there. We're moving the ball so quick, we were zipping around. Norwich couldn't deal with us. Yeah. And you see some of the wins that Leeds have. We've seen it a little bit against Hull as well. Some of the passing, like we've seen as well. I seen there today was this day last year where we bet Hull. Do you remember Pirro's goal?
Yeah.
When we broke quick, we moved the ball fast like that. When we can't do it, and I think that's probably the most frustrating thing is we know we can do it. We've seen it do it. But it's the other side of it there. Yeah. It's like just turning a volume button. It's like Farke just turns it right down, and it's very slow. Even the ball pass itself. It's not like even when he's passing the 5-yard, it's being zipped.
I think I remember
the ball is just rolling. It's very laboured.
Someone made a pass, and it was definitely to Nando, but I can't remember who it was. And as they passed it, as soon as the ball left the ball, I was like, "Burnley are gonna get this."
Yeah.
It was real sluggish,
laboured,
and it was just half-hours of a pass.
Yeah.
You know. But anyway, yeah, I'm being generous with a 5 of just based on that match alone. I think there needs to be a plan B.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to. Burnley were a good side. Okay, look, they held well in the first half. They got their counter attack and they got a goal from it. But then, as you said, right, second half. Now is where we done well in the first half, but now lads just need to step it up. And they didn't. Yeah. And then that's it.
When I look at Burnley,
throwing players on for the crack. Like.
We're looking at it with our Leeds harness and we're looking from the Leeds perspective what Leeds could have done. But if you take your Leeds hat off for a second and you think about Burnley, great result for them. They've gone to Ellen Road, they've taken away 3 points. But if that's my team and Burnley went and done that, I'm turning around and I'm looking at Hannibal and I'm looking at Brownhill and I'm looking like them two absolutely shithouse that Leeds United midfield. He got Ampadu said, you see Ampadu went across to smash Hannibal because obviously he was giving a bit the whole match. We turned around and said it. The Hannibal was like wrecking ahead. You could see exactly what he was doing. It was to try and wild the players up. It was to try and get them out of the rhythm. They went there with a game plan to sit in not ultra defensive, deep, not too ultra defensive, which we're going to get off teams that I don't know this season. And they sat in there to frustrate us, and that's exactly what they did. And Leeds played exactly that. And you seen what Ampadu, and Ampadu went across to smash Hannibal. And at the time, two of us were like, oh yeah. But Ampadu came off worse and he comes out with the injury. Do you know what I mean? So it was like even them little moments in the game just wasn't even followed. Even something like that where Ampadu, it wasn't even a 50-50, it was more like a 70-30. Do you know what I mean? Ampadu was always going to win the ball. And it was like Hannibal left a bit on him and he comes out the worst. I mean, he was going in to smash him. And Ampadu comes off the worst. So it was even them little things. And you seen him when he was taking off, going along the back of the south stand. That was Burnley's game plan. Yeah. Scott Parker was in that dressing room around going, today's the day, we're going to frustrate the crowd. We nullify them, don't let them build up, make sure that they don't get the intricate passing in between us, we'll hold them off and we'll hit them on the counter attack and we'll frustrate them while we're at it. And that it worked to an absolute T. So they're coming away from it all. But then you're looking on the flip, Burnley are a relegated team coming down from the Premier League, obviously big parachute payments, decent squad. I do think it's going to be us, Sheffield United, West Brom are looking good now as well. But they gave us a lot of respect coming to Ellen Road and playing like that. You know, they didn't come out and go, we're going to try and play expansive football and match Leeds, match for match. They knew if they did play that sort of play, that was in the balance, and more likely Leeds are going to go win the game. So for me, it's a positive in that end of it. If probably one of the promotion contenders are coming down and wanting to play in that way to nullify us, do you know what I mean? It's only going to be kind of a benefit and shows us a bit respect. But I suppose that's kind of, it's clutching at straws a little bit. Do you know what I mean? So
definitely.
Yeah, I think look at that. From Leeds' point of view, we kind of need to just bury the Burnley game. It's happened, and obviously you're going to get it, and we're probably going to get it again later in the season. But it's time to probably kind of bury the hatchet. It's a massive game against Cardiff on the weekend. Obviously, we will get a little bit into Cardiff in our match build up on Thursday. But I think Cardiff is a massive game for Leeds. We have to bounce back. And I just think that the season as a whole so far, we'll obviously get into next. What your kind of thoughts on the season so far? Obviously we're at the Portsmouth game, and we'll even put the Middlesbrough game into that as well, because I don't think you can take it out in isolation, even though it was a League Cup game. So we'll say kind of 5 in the league, 1 in the cup, like your kind of whole aspect and view of the season so far.
I think it's kind of like a course on Leeds. They might win 2 games on the bounce, or they might win one, draw one, or just kind of good, positive results. And then they just slump it, or like lose 1-0 to Burnley. There's no
the international break again.
yeah.
Isn't it?
It's always after a
30
break.
again.
Like Farke did say in an interview like that they had players only had 1 day training. These are professional athletes.
Yeah.
1 day training ain't gonna make it up.
Yeah.
Regardless, they should be on from the get go. And I'm not, I like Farke. I don't want Farke out. I just want to make that clear. But don't be giving us excuses like that.
Yeah.
If they're had been in an international, regardless whether they play the full 90, 10 minutes, they've been training.
Yeah, the professional footballers.
They know
Yeah.
fitness I'm talking about.
And the fitness isn't the question.
No, definitely
The
not.
fitness isn't the question. I don't think it was any
So that's what I'm
it
saying.
wasn't for lack of effort. It was the quality that was missing.
What was the point of the comment?
Yeah.
I'm trying to say, like he didn't. It didn't do anything for me. Maybe I should, and I'm a hot-head when I get going, and that just kind of annoyed me a little bit. It is an excuse. Just put your hands up and admit.
Yeah.
You got it wrong.
Bad day at the opposite.
Overall, I don't even want to talk about Middlesbrough.
That's
The Portsmouth game, obviously, it was good.
Yeah.
It was good. But overall, if I had to rate out of 10, I would probably give it because I'm being nice, probably a 6.
6, yeah.
Yeah. Just there's wins in there, there's draws in there, and obviously there's losses in there. But I think we just unfortunately need to stay positive and trust Farke. I don't believe in this. I'm sick and tired of Leeds soccer managers. It drives me mad. Look, if it takes us 3 seasons to go up to the Premier League, that's what it takes.
I think that's where we're probably going to count on. Obviously, we're going to get on to Farke next.
I think he's the man for the job. Maybe not so much for the Premier League, but I definitely think that he's the man for the job.
I'm going to go to season so far, and again, we're going to include the Middlesbrough game. Right, look at Portsmouth home was very much, it was nearly a carbon copy of Cardiff the season before. It was a draw against a side that we should be beating.
Yeah.
For me, but look, it's the first game of the season, and there's kind of nothing to lose. So any team that's coming on like your first game of the season, the shackles are kind of off. Look, you don't have to kind of be reserved, trying to pick up a point here, pick up a point there. It's kind of like both teams kind of go at it. There's nothing to kind of play for you. Just go out and see what happens. It was a mad game of football. Like, obviously we were there. We could have won it at the end. We could have lost it. That's fine, right, fair enough. We move on. The Middlesbrough game, then we were absolutely thumped. And we were all calling for at the time, was it for a shake-up on the team. It's even griping me getting back into it. And give other players a go, which we did, the likes of Gelhardt and all them, and they did absolutely nothing. They didn't try, and that's what griped me. It was then the whole depth in the squad, and that was obviously around the transfer window, and that's obviously what upped Leeds fans' frustration, is that we seen our so-called second team or our bench coming on and playing that game, and they were horrendous. It was really, really bad, and it annoyed me even more that it was at Ellen Road. It was something that we kind of prided ourselves on last year, was a fortress. We only lost 2 games there last year, and it was towards the end of the season when we obviously fell to shit. And that's what griped me a little bit, was that loss. It was so bad. It wasn't just like a 1-0 loss like it was on Saturday. It was the whole performance as a whole was horrendous. So, right, we're annoyed at that. We can see 2 goals in 6 games at Ellen Road. Then we go to the Hawthorns, West Brom. Carlos Cobram, we know exactly his type of side he's going to set up. He's going to be defensive whether he's home or away. He prides himself on having strong defences. We obviously watched it down in your house, and again, it was bad. And I understand what Farke was trying to do, and he had to kind of stop the bleeding and put the bandage over. And after the game was over, as much as we were frustrated, in isolation, we turned around, look, that's not a bad point. If we beat Portsmouth at home and you draw away to West Brom, we turn around and go, geez, that's not a bad start of the season. 4 points from 6 games. So I understand what he tried to do. As much as I don't like that, I always want Leeds to go and put our emphasis on the game. It just wasn't nice seeing us being kind of very reserved. I thought we should have probably pushed the boat a little bit, but then we could have lost that game, and we could be having a different conversation here with Farke. But again, we could be winning it and have another conversation. But like, that's the fine lines of football. We obviously have 2 great results then in Sheffield Wednesday and Hull. I thought there were 2 really good, solid performances. We were back to the basics. Our defending was good, and our clean sheets. And then the optimism then is going into kind of the first big hitter then against Burnley on the weekend. And this is where you're hoping Leeds step up now. We really, really have to put down to the rest of the league where we're at the minute. And for me, I just thought, we've obviously gone through it. I just thought it was really poor. So for me, overall, I'm going to say it's a 4 so far. And you know me, I would be kind of fairly positive Leeds fans. We ebbs and flows. There's times where, heart in my chest, no, be positive. But I just think with everything kind of, what's kind of gone around the transfer window, the way it's kind of been up and down at the minute, I'm going to say like a 4 at the minute. And this kind of obviously leads us on to like Daniel Farke, who you obviously said that you're not Daniel Farke, who I'm not Daniel Farke yet. And I'm not on the fence. I'm probably 1 foot on the fence. And the reason why I'm saying that, because I think Cardiff on the weekend is absolutely massive. And not massive in the whole as like for a season and promotion. I think it's massive for Daniel Farke, because when we go to Cardiff, I think I read there today that they've conceded 11 goals. They've only scored 1. The bottom of the championship. We have to be going there and winning that. And I mean, not just nicking it 1-0
like
and getting
4
away.
or 5
Getting away. We need to be going and thumping down for the Leeds fans turn around and go, right, let's just settle it down. Burnley's gone. We've wiped the floor. I just fear that if the unthinkable happens and we lose against Cardiff, then I'm more than Daniel Farke on the fence, because the questions will definitely have to be asked. Like.
Oh no, I agree to a certain extent.
And that's probably harsh to say, and I know what you're saying about the swapping and changing. It's just everything that's kind of coming with it now.
Yeah.
And it's the football, and it's boring,
Yeah.
and it's dry. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this is where I think it's a big game for Daniel Farke. It's a must-win for Daniel Farke.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a must-win for Leeds United. I know, like, that doesn't really go in tandem, but a season as a whole, I don't think it does. But I think for Daniel Farke,
I just think that when
when
it comes to Leeds, you know, the history of managers, bringing new managers in for players that play a different system, a different setup, and a different overall person.
yeah,
Personalities clash. Normal starters, etc. And I think that's what Leeds' problem is. And for Farke to go would, one, destroy everything that he's built so
rips
far.
everything up. Yeah.
Exactly what Bielsa has done as well. And it's going back to the start again. And then everyone's going, can we do it in this manager's first year?
And who do we get? Like,
Exactly. But can we do this in the first year? It took Bielsa 2 years. And we're hoping it's going to take Farke 2 years.
Yeah.
It takes a long while for a manager to settle into a job. 6 months, a year. I understand, and don't get me wrong, like if Leeds start falling down 16th or 17th, I completely agree, get rid of them. But we're not there yet.
Yeah.
Come Christmas, before Christmas, the next 3 or 4 results should determine the future of
I agree with you on that though. I said in my video as well, the next 5 are absolutely, the next 4 are probably massive, but if you look at the next 5 as like another chunk, and you kind of look at them in games of 5, the first 5, like what I said, I'd probably rate it as like a 4 out of 10. The next 5 are crucial because they're really, really big games. It starts at Cardiff away the weekend, then we've got Coventry at home, Norwich away, Sunderland away, which that double header away is going to be tough, really, really tough. Carrow Road, a hard place to go to. Sunderland's got off to a really good start. Yeah, they were better Plymouth the weekend, but that's a blip. Still 3 or 4 or 5 games isn't bad. And then the massive game, Sheffield United, that we're going to as well. So for me, the next 5 games, if we aren't in touch and distance of them top 2, like, there is going to be question asked. And there will be if Cardiff beat us the weekend. That this is what I'm afraid of, that the questions are going to start to be asked at Anfield. I don't think the 49ers will sack him because they've backed him in the window. They've got the players in, and they're going to want to see them kind of settle in, do you know what I mean? And well, they've what will be 3 games in after the transfer window closed. That's no time, as well as an international break in there. That's no time for new players to kind of come in and gel. And I understand that, but I just think Leeds as a fan base as a whole are really going to start putting the pressure on Daniel Farke now. And at this way, I think it's his time to deliver. And I wouldn't mind if we go out and thump Cardiff the weekend. I want him to go out to Leeds fans and go like that, or shush and turn around and go, we have this, or calm down, like, do you know what I mean? I want him to get that bit, like that kind of bit of fire in his belly, and that's what it feels like. He hasn't really got that fire in his belly, and I think it's like, it's probably something that's kind of left there with Bielsa, is like, we obviously loved Bielsa to bits. We loved Bielsa like he was like your granddad, your father, and it's ever since Bielsa left, it feels like we're chasing that same sort of like romance, that same sort of feeling with a manager, and I've tried to kind of push it with Farke and like be like, I love him, and kind of get that affection from. I don't know, it's just hard to kind of like them, and that's obviously like, that's really bad saying that, but I just don't have that feel like I have that connection with Farke, like, do you know what I mean? He feels like he's like a hard manager to like, and it's probably true, his playing style and his football, do you know what I mean?
Like, regardless of the club backing him through the transfer window, come Christmas, if there's no, if we're sitting in 5 or 6, we still need more signings.
Yeah.
I have to be honest. We need number 10.
January we need on the accelerator,
yeah.
and none of this shit
yeah.
that we have. Oh, we're waiting to
Yeah.
see what's available. Like January, the tough window as it is. We obviously need to assess if the club are going to back Farke and they're going to stick with him in January. Well, we need to see the season out then. And when it comes to January, we can't rest on our laurels. We missed out on Kiefer Moore last year. We missed out on David Brooks last year. We have to go on into that January window and already pre-picked that you're turning around to tell them, look, we've obviously seen Saloy as well might be available as well. The players are going to become available 6 months left in the contract. There's time for us to go in and go, you're coming in January and it's done. As soon as that window opens up the 1st of January, you're coming to Leeds. There's none of this shit that we're waiting around for the last 2 or 3 days or signing someone on deadline day, hoping that
and
we get
no release clauses.
Yeah, no release clause. All this shit. I mean, you're coming out, you're telling everyone no one's going in January. That's just it. End of story. And we're building on the squad and we're going for promotion. That's and Leeds need to start being. It feels like for a very, very long time we're being run like a League One and Championship Cup. There's times that Leeds United we have to start acting like Leeds United, and I mean in a way that we're up here and stop being this type of club that we're being run like, you know, a League One or a middle Championship club. We need to be bullying other clubs and other teams in this league, and that's what I think.
Completely agree.
I missed that under Bielsa, that we bully teams. Everyone was fearing with our fitness levels. Ellen Road, and that's obviously a big cause as well. As we've obviously heard a lot about the atmosphere at Ellen Road, and I think that's a lot to do with the slow, kind of unattractive football that Farke was playing, where Bielsa, it was fast flowing, it was enjoyable to watch, it got you up off your seat from the first minute at Ellen Road to the 90th minute. The place was absolutely rocking. The only time I've ever felt Ellen Road like that or seen Ellen Road like that was obviously the playoff semi-final at Norwich. That's what I want Leeds to have. I want us to have that kind of that arrogance about us, do you know what I mean? We're the bullies, do you know what I mean? We're the bullies of this league.
That's a great way of putting it. Yeah, look, only time to tell them. Well, you know, it's.
Look, it's a long season.
It's
a long season, and there's you kind of know, like, there's times where you can ebb and flow. And look, I'm kind of an emotional kind of person. You are as well, and especially when it comes to like Leeds United, is like your emotions kind of ebb and flow with it. You kind of step back then and look at it then and go, there's still 41 games to go. There's a long, long way to go in the season. But then you start kind of, your mind starts going, you start picking the bones when you start kind of having.
You know, it's bad when you start, you know, like obviously we do a prediction before a match, but come in the middle of the season, off camera, watching it and going, you know, Leeds aren't playing great or something, and you go, this is going to be 2-1. Yeah. And it happens. Yeah. You know, that's where it's bad. Yeah. That's when you know. You know. Yeah. You can see the patterns, of play where it's going to happen. But look, it's the joys of being a Leeds fan. And
that's like just time there, like you're watching, like you obviously seen I was watching it there on Saturday, and as soon as the final whistle blow, I'm stand up, I'm like, get him out! It's just like, then 20 minutes later, you're like, alright, well, maybe don't get him. It is like, it's all emotional, and like that, it's the emotion of the game, it's the adrenaline, it's everything in you, like as a Leeds fan. So, like I said, you're obviously definitely Farke in. I'm 1 foot on the fence about the ground to the fence, and it depends on this game on Saturday against Cardiff, which again, as we said, is a massive one, and we're gonna obviously do our pre-match build up to that. We'll do that on Thursday after Daniel Farke's interview, because it's going to be very interesting to see what he has to say now that he has time to kind of think about it. And we'll go through. We're obviously,
well, hopefully there's tough questions being thrown at him.
Yeah.
And if I was in there, it'd be the first thing I was saying, what's the story with the
double pivot?
Why is there no plan B, man?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. It has to be. Well, obviously we'll go through obviously a lot that I kind of want to run through, and we'll leave it kind of to the Cardiff video on Thursday, because there's kind of a lot to pick the bones of that. What I think he should change up. There's a conversation maybe to take Joseph out of the firing line a bit, but he's a 19-year-old. He's after playing a good couple of games. He's obviously missed that chance. So I think Farke might need to take the heat off him and maybe try a Pirro in there. We obviously don't know what way Bamford is going to be. James, we know, is definitely out. So yeah, there's a lot to kind of pick the bones ahead of Cardiff, I think, and kind of more so than any other game, because there's a lot riding on it for me and for Daniel Farke's future. And it's time we kind of
nearly days and weeks and months coming. Yeah. Hopefully, next time we talk on Saturday, it'll be
we wouldn't you wouldn't have it any other way. Like, I mean, I'd love nothing more than when we're going to be doing our instant match reaction after Cardiff and holding hands up and going, whoa, Farke got it right. You know what I mean? We went down, we bet them 3-0, we played them off the park. The football was nice, and we can just put Burnley aside and go, let's use it as a learning curve. You win games, happy days, but you lose, you learn, and that's what I'm only hoping that Daniel Farke does, that he's learning from that game on Saturday, and he's taking it on board, and he's taking the criticism on the chin and going, right, we can't do that again, and find a way to break it. Because it's only going to get worse when QPR come to Ellen Road at Stoke. we know that it's going to be ultra defensive, a lot more defensive than what Burnley done to us, and it's going to be very frustrating. It's very frustrating for us. So for me in them situations, our set pieces definitely have to pick up, because there's going to be times where we're going to have to rely on them, win a game, a 1-0 header that comes off.
The corners are
comes off, strikes arse and goes into the back of the net, and we win the game 1-0. We need to start winning games like that as well. Scrappy games when it isn't pretty, and they're going to be,
as you would say, bullying teams.
Bullying teams, you know, we're sticking out, putting the impetus on them, do you know what I mean? And not, there was times there, obviously pulling it back a little bit, we're nearly wrapping the video, but there was times there against Burnley, I felt like we were always trying to be like Man City or Arsenal. It was like we were trying to walk
it in. I noticed that as well.
We were trying to find the perfect pass and the perfect goal, instead of just opening your body and having a pop. And there was time, and but he done it the one time, but it was like we were trying to find that one. There was times where you just have it. Do you know what I mean? And we hit off 2 defenders going to the back of the net. Do you know what I mean? And we rolled through to Joseph, Nanto, they're in 1-on-1. Do you know what I mean? It was like we're just not taking the risk, and that's what I'm
saying. We're taking the risks in a different scenario.
In the wrong places,
in the wrong places, exactly. You know, that midfield, that's the reason why everyone was saying about Glenn Kamara. Like, he never shot.
Yeah.
Like, not one shot did he have.
Yeah.
Now you have the players.
Yeah.
Tell them to shoot.
Yeah.
Have a
Have an
pop.
opportunity. Oh, look, you could sit here in the video, we can roll the video on till next week, and we can sit here and pick the bones, and obviously that's the joy of being Leeds United. So yeah, guys, look, we'll wrap it up there, because otherwise I think we'll keep going up.
I'll put my head through a wall, one or the other.
Back and forward now, I'm out working myself up again. I was trying to camp.
Let's go for another walk.
I need to go for another walk.
Farke.
Yeah, guys, look, we'll wrap it up there, and we're going to do our pre-match build-up on Thursday. We're going to have to rename it a bit, so your match preview is now going to be known as the match build-up, and your match review is going to be known as the match wrap-up, so just so you're going to differentiate that, and we will use that kind of going forward. Again, guys, yeah, look, thanks for all the commenting and subscribing so far. It's been class for us. Make sure you hit your notification bell as well, so you don't miss a beat. And if there's anything tomorrow, Wednesday, anything kind of pops up tomorrow that's kind of worth jumping on and doing the video, we will. But other than that, we'll chat to you all Thursday, and we'll pick the bounds as we head to a tough game away from Cardiff. And for me, must win for Daniel Farke. Anything to add before we wrap it up?
That's really it.
That's it from you.
Thanks.
Thanks, guys. All the best. Enjoy.